Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television from our headquarters in Lagos State, in Nigeria. I am Henry Ikwebike, and today we'll be starting off with our newspapers, and right after that will be our main conversation also for today. Do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can find us, reach us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am very so honored to have joining me via Zoom Oluwaseyi. He is a journalist, a public affairs analyst, and a development communicator. Good morning to you, sir, and welcome to Enterprise Morning today.
Yeah, good morning. It's my pleasure to be with you. Good morning, our viewers.
All right, I think we're finding it difficult hearing him right here, but let's see how we can make that work, actually. I would love us to start with the first newspaper on our desk. I do not know if we've gotten that communication right now. Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Are you also hearing me?
Okay, I hardly can hear him. But let's see how that goes, though. All right, so while we get that sorted out, I would love us to start with the first daily on our desk. This is coming from the Punch newspaper. We have the big story. Chairmanship, PDP consensus, deal shatters as Lamido rejects Turaki. And we have a rider to that particular story. And the rider says that tension ahead of convention screening postponed indefinitely. Lamido heads to court. Turaki advances a bid. And we have on the top strip of the same newspaper that Tinubu or Obasanjo lead dignitaries to honor late Christopher Kolade. And we have other interesting matters. And Natasha broke a penal code in attack on Akpabio and Bello. We equally have other interesting matters. A 92-year-old Biya, 8-term win sparks a protest in Cameroon. We have other interesting matters that I think we should equally discuss here. Insecurity. Tinubu presses new service chiefs for immediate action. And we have other interesting stories still coming from the Punch newspaper. Collapsed the Lagos building. Occupancy ignored distress signs. And that's coming from residents. And we learned that about 15 people that were caught in that particular building collapse have been rescued. We have other trending matters. Hardship at Babio. Yelwata challenge Nigerians to monitor governors. Remember, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said that he has distributed so much money to governors. And Akpabio, who once said that things are getting better, he did a song, Things Are Getting Better. He is saying that Nigerians should hold their governors responsible or hold them to account. And one will be wondering, how would residents, how would citizens, how would indigents hold governors that they can't even see? Some of these governors are governing their states outside of their state in Abuja. Some of them reside in Lagos and govern in their states. And one would wonder how that is even possible. So I'd love to start with you, Mr. Shoyinton, on the issue of the 92-year-old Paul Biya's 8-term win, which of course is sparking lots of protest in Cameroon. How bad do you think this is to democracy in Africa?
That is not democracy. I think that's the error. I think it's also what we call to be big. Lagos, friends, I mean our politicians in Nigeria. That is another master strategist that are just one in an African country. Well, Biya has always been a sore point in our civil law process in Nigeria. Will somebody now come out and say democracy in court as symbolized by Paul Biya? Will anybody with reasonable sense come out to tell us now that worst democracy is better than the best military regime? Of course, we can't take that as democracy. we are trying to unnecessarily exaggerate that word, democracy. It's a mere elitist word that doesn't really bear relevance to an average members of the masses and working class struggling to survive. But of course, civil rule is okay, provided it provides basic standard of living. Where rules of law are being broken, where electoral processes are destroyed, where thugs, rogues, and of course, people like Bia continue to stay in power at all costs. We can't say that is democracy. So we should learn a lesson because I was also part of those who make a statement in those days that the worst of a civilian is better than the best of a military coup, which is a lie now. It's obvious it's a lie when you look at what is happening in different African countries. And I'm also saying that we should correct one thing that I've been saying over the year that people deserve government ticket. I want to disagree with that. No, it is not. Because people don't have option. They are the rogue in power control the military, the police, of course, all armed forces, and the electoral, the judiciary. Look at the history of Bia. It's been coming from the position of weakness to strength, and enabled, aided by the parliament, by the judiciary, by the electoral value, even by some of his sycophants, the Ababakos that I used to call them. I always call them in Nigeria. Those who are hard-hardened sycophants of government, they are a minority, but they are loud mouth there. They are just the people that will think that, well, so far minority is gaining, let us promote dictatorship. Dictatorship of Sibila is even worse than the dictatorship of the military. How? Because you know that you are dealing with the military and you can use all methods, avenues to fight back. But here, in the so-called democracy of Bolivia, you'll be restricted to use legal process, rule of law process, which is a farce. The reality has shown. How can a 92-year-old man, I mean, I don't even think the man is connecting again. Maybe some. Yes, he can connect again.
Yeah.
Maybe some people just put him there as a toy. We saw him in different places when he got to United Nations and other places. He could not even understand what was going on around. It's obvious. So, the Cameroonian people should know that their fate is in their hand. They may be low now, but they must, in one way or the other, continue to protest against this old man. Can you imagine? I think they give himself another 72, 92%, 99. And it's not doing anything. How can even in the country have, tenure of 7 terms or so terms? How? And it always starts with this messianic syndrome. He's a messiah. He's the only one that can do it. He's a master strategist. He accepts people. He has built people. Meanwhile, what Bia was doing was just building people around his personal interest to be a dictator. And he has been a dictator in civilian regime. It's worse than a dictator in military regime because it's like going to the forest. When you go and meet a lion, you know how to prepare for it. But when you go and meet a forest that you think is contains of snails and tortoise, and you find a lion, then you are in danger. That is the issue. I want to appeal to other African countries why I'm in support of ideal democracy with the military. I want to appeal to other African countries, including Nigeria, that this kind of Polybius democracy should not be tolerated. By all means, it has to be fought against, or else we are going to lay foundations for further rogue civilians to come in and say they are voted for. Who voted for them? Okay, who voted for me? But he will get some votes. And that was my immediate worry. That at least, let's even say the man, I mean, the man didn't even know what he was doing. Got, definitely got some who voted for him. Those are the psychiatric patients that we people should re-examine. I mean, because how can I want to go and vote and I will vote for a Senate 92 man? You as a young man. To pilot your affair, I affair of your children. How? So it means the person who exercise this discretion is also worse than Bia. That's the truth. You can see you have election, you didn't declare in this digital age, you didn't declare result until almost 3 weeks after. Who does that? In this digital age, that I mean, he did not even have the honor of talking of glitz. I mean, we will have talked of glitz. I mean, I didn't hear of any glitz. They just say they are regulating and they will announce results.
And it's actually very so unfortunate. Yes. Yes, it's yes, very, very crazy and disturbing. And the funny thing is that Paul Biya, the 92-year-old great-grandfather, wasn't even present at any point. He didn't participate in the campaign. He didn't participate. He wasn't even available at all. It was a mascot of him that was present, and it's you can see how bad the situation is. A master strategist in Cameroon, which is equally looking like what we have, unfortunately, in Nigeria. But I'd love us to take on another matter, because you talked about the legislator or the legislature actually aiding and abating, some of the problems that we have in different parts of Africa. But let's take a look at another matter. Hardship. Akpabio, Yilwata challenge Nigerians to monitor their governors. Does it really make any sense? Because these are lawmakers that should be making laws to ensure that things work in Nigeria. Rather than do that, they are asking us Nigerians to monitor the governors that we can't even see. Some of them are governing their states from Abuja and Lagos. Speak to me on this, please.
Well, Akpabio as Senate President in Nigeria is a reflection of the degeneration that the nation has become. This is a man that has, allegations of multi-billion naira on his head, and yet he became the Senate President. That tells you the process of the elitist way of processing judicial whatever about corruption. A man like that, either being alleged or not alleged, should not even step any seat, not to talk of heading the Senate. But it's understandable when you look at from the past till now, even in states, the governor, the president likes to put somebody that has moral body, debt body, credential body as speaker or president of the Senate, because they will be easily controllable. There is always a permanent blackmail. If you don't do what you want you to do, you just call the FCC, the one who give until when the president of the governor finish with him. So if Akpabio is giving advice, I don't. Akpabio at best, after the governor, after being a governor, to have just been an organizer of his, beauty pageant for his interest in women. It just be, instead of going to political arena, just be organizing his mistake, this is what is to Nigeria. Maybe Ben Bruce should have incorporated Akpabio into his beauty pageant programs instead of disturbing this. I don't listen to Akpabio coming from people like that, but I don't, because it doesn't have the moral right. Who investigated it? Okay, how do you want to investigate a governor that knows? The best we can look out for is the chairman of a local government. For those who stay in that local government, governor that will have submarine blowing, when it's coming. And I want to say something. That is what I continue to say, even before now, that look, bad president leads to worse president. Tinubu holding another set of 1999 governor. This did what they did and actually got away with it. They put their hands, their mouth in state form and acquire their state processes. So the governors are also, following their path. But when you give much money, instead of giving people to get their subsidy through petrol stations, through different support like agriculture and the prices, so the price will go down. You removed subsidy with the promise that things will get better, that oil will come down, that food will come down. Now you did that, you give money to governors. Of course, it's a bribe for 2027. That's how I see it. If not, you know how people stole in 1919 when you started till 2023 or 2027. You know your power emanated from having much more state fund in your pocket as government, to buy people, to make them come out in human commodity for election. So the governors are doing the same thing. They are doing the same thing. They are doing the same thing, but they want to own their state. They want to control the political machinery in their state. They want to control the National Union of Road Transporters. They want to control political talks. They want to control CPA. They want to bribe people. They want to control students. They want to control civil society organizations. They want to buy human rights activists over to them. They want to control the judiciary. So you give them much money, people are suffering. So what do you expect with money when they still have intention to go forward and to become something else, and also to put people in power? It's done. That was what Wike did. That was what Tinubu did. That was what they did. A lot of them were doing that. That was even what Oworonshoki did. So it's a trend. It's a culture of overpowering their state, getting richer than their state. He knew this. A genuine president will have knew this and stop it by not giving them more money and not removing subsidy. People should have gone ahead. Okay, who is talking of palliative now? Just the palliative. And I know my own tribe, Yoruba. They don't like to eat free food. Now hunger is everywhere. I know people in my community that have said their wife back home, just go, don't want to. Just go home and chicken, go and survive anyhow. I have a lot of observations and stories to tell about that when the book is out. In terms of economic reality, and now this government has further worsened, the case. I mean, there is a case of a woman who used to sell this papa, and my mom. In the morning, very early in the morning, by 6, 7, a.m., woman is everywhere. I just asked my wife what happened. Here, I want to read my child. The woman is no more doing that.
Wow.
Because she could not afford. Yes, she could not afford to continue the business, And of course, there used to be another woman that would come in the evening, sell bread and money. That one is no more. It's been Lamala and 8 somewhere with 4 children. And it was such a person to even say economic is recovering. These are the people that should go back to work. There used to be a woman that a supporter of subsidy movement. People are trying to support criminality against themselves, but they don't know that I broke the land. Because whenever the election was coming, I give everybody the opportunity to discuss any plan to hear. But I became the minority. Let them subsidy. You was getting a chance. That what this was sure about was that food price will come down. Price oil will go down. They will tell me, I'm probably let Tinubu remove subsidy. Now, The woman used to sell, we are talking about wine, horse, used to sell fish, used to sell pepper soup, this fish with pepper, used to sell pepper soup, assorted meat, used to sell beer. Now a woman will not sell goods. Is managing to sell Oguro now. So that's how you measure economy, not all the paper content and all that. And the woman has not come back. The woman ate Tinubu more than armed robber now. And he said, "Ah, buy the shop, we want to." I said, "Well, maybe because I have higher political consciousness. Now we fight the subsidy over societies. So how can I fight subsidy over army? I continue to fight and push subsidy over it, even in during Jonathan's time. So how do we now support that? Particularly with somebody like that. Even Buhari, that I tagged my authority integrity. I fought that time. And the man, Ghana's fought the Shylocks, the Rogues Temple. I mean, he said he would never do subsidy. In one of his interviews, while he was campaigning, even when he came in, he said that it's going to affect the poor. That it's not going to devalue the currency. That it's going to affect the poor because he knows that the poor is going to suffer. Now, a Babu integrity person remove it like well, I don't want to use the word prophecy, but you who does only 1 hour cause a lot of trouble, multiplier effect, problem, adverse problem. I mean, adverse multiplier effect on the economy, and up till now, nothing has been researched. And I always tell some of these close ones that look, I can only assure that I can only be assured that the economy is bad when the two Yaolobi come back to their business and my and sell start selling. I mean, I'm not
Very, very true.
And myself as a person, I know how much I have gone in terms of the value, the wealth, the value, how much I knew. I mean, even it's affecting
Very well.
individuals and family.
Very well, sir. Very so unfortunate because this is riddled all over the place. Unfortunately, just like you did say, we have sycophants who are still, parading about town on how awesome the president is, on how awesome his administration is. But of course, those in the grassroots are still not feeling that development that he says he is bringing to the table. A 12.5 kg cooking gas is way above the feet of Nigerians, and you can see how bad the situation is. Just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, that Mr. Adiola Shoyinton will still be here to take us on our main conversation. That is when we will return. Oworonshoki demolition, tears, anger as residents accuse government of land grabbing. In a bit, still Enterprise Morning. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. that we are not criminals, one resident said bitterly. We are citizens who deserve to be treated like human beings. I still have with me Mr. Ajola Shoyinton. Thank you so very much, sir, for hanging on.
It's my pleasure again.
All right, I'm still trying to get the voice now. Still trying to get... can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Okay, so we'll try to get the audio done well. I think it's very important that we state here that this is a growing problem. We do not know if urban development is masqueraded for land grabbing. Sir, did you get the report that we had there? So what's your take on the supposed land grabbing by Lagos State government on the residents of Oworonshoki?
Well, we all know these elements in Lagos. Traditionally, they are land grabbers. They are land grabbers. You know, we can see a lot of land grab turned into estates, big market. You know, we don't take military since 1999 when this land grabbers was within free access, free range to meet on behalf of the state and of course on behalf of the ruling class in Lagos. I'll give one instance which informed my opinion over the years of this rubbish political land grabbers in Nigeria. And I'll give one. When I think during the regime, they were they have these almost frequent one of market places and what have you. And in the man, leading some women to see of course, another one they were crying and they were alleging that their shops that were born that got born were born by developers. It sounds strange to me that land grabbers, the developers, so-called developers, were sent by government to come and build their homes line, their shops line, so that they can rebuild and sell to their wives and their political supporters and of course to themselves. I didn't believe it because I thought it was immoral. But of course, it was to a large extent. That because when you say okay, accidentally the market got gone, maybe by spark. That was official. But after building it, you didn't relocate it to the original. Gave it out to big guys to come and buy and resell to other people. Then I started to feel that allegation by women, market women, is genuine. You know why? Even those market women, some of them, volunteered and do government. They like the way you supervise us. Leave the market for us, we will rebuild. But government will not. They will just, when the developer allegedly bomb the market, government will just move in. He talks and what have you and destroy. And anyone, any development, whether you call it rural or urban development, that is not people-centered is a crime against humanity.
But if I might ask, Mr. Jola, if I might ask, historically, you would help us with that because I love to believe you have lots of historical evidence from Lagos. Do you think those who have been displaced from Oworonshoki, are they the original owners of that land? Or they are people who came to a land that was meant for government and occupied it for the meantime, but over the years it now looked like it was theirs?
The first instance is the right of government. In fact, it's an obligation of government to make sure nobody sleeps outside in the air, because it's part of human dignity that government should protect, whether they are legitimate or illegitimate. They should. I protested in 1990 against Maroko demolition. When I was student, not president, we even named our market that university was trying to destroy, where we used to buy sheep amala. The university was saying just like this or that. They wanted to do the market to look nice and what that. But we know if they did that, all those that were struggling to give us amala. Yeah, they will just send them away and turn the place into one more or less Chinese restaurant or outsider to start up. Of course, that was why we named our market. Maroko that day. We had a lot of protests. I came to Lagos to join the protesters against Maroko. So that is what civil is all about. We are not against urban development, but urban development must, assure that people are relocated. I'll give you one instance. When I was in Libya with a program during Gaddafi's time, we got to a place they call Medina. Medina is a big area of abandoned big houses and low houses. Then that was where I think up to now illegal immigrants stay from Africa stay. Then I was worried that it's like this place is less occupied. And one of those who have been going there, told us that Medina, the original inhabitants of Medina have been relocated to the new Medina. That's a government plan, because they want to develop that Medina to be of higher status. So they have to relocate to another place. So that is what government should have done. People are helping you to house themselves, because whether you like it or not, those who you are telling to go to hell, government did not, pack all of them and put them in the lagoon or in the Atlantic Ocean. If you have done that, maybe the social economic problem that will resolve will have been solved, quote and unquote. But thousands of people are made just homeless, just like that. Because you say you want to do urban renewal. What kind of urban renewal with that will allow crime to go ahead, that will allow life to stop, that will allow people to die, that will allow students not to go to school? That is not urban renewal. That is elitist urban renewal to grab land. Okay, I always ask them when I protested in those days. Look, okay, this land, assuming it's government for many years undeveloped. And of course, people are coming to school, building shanties, later building homes and what have you. Government do go there to collect taxes. Local government will go, the state government will go. And some of these houses, they will go to Alausa to get permission to go ahead. And government will be looking, because that land used to be a forest or a shanty or a fallow land. But the moment that land becomes to appreciate, and people, market have been, people have been having eyes on that, they will now say, okay, this is our land, and you want to convert it. Of course, if you want to do that, you must negotiate with people. Either you relocate them, pay them compensation, and give years. What is so special? You have a lot of land, a lot of forest. Lagos to Abeokuta, Lagos to Ibadan, Lagos to Ekpe. So go there, go and do all those forests and do something. And if you think you want to relocate, you want to take over Ajegunle and water, then relocate them. It's your duty. It's your duty to make sure people feed, people were sheltered, and people have security of life and property. That is is the basic government of, I mean, even in bourgeois democracy, you see a lot of shanties, people staying there, even in US. And people government will pretend that they don't see them because they know this will be a problem.
And
Any
have you
attempt,
observed, sorry for interjecting, have you observed that when you are plying the Third Mainland Bridge by the Makoko axis, where we have all those, shanties, being built on top of the water, you would notice that the government is beginning to sandfill that area. So do you think that in the nearest future, the whole of Makoko might be wiped out and possibly what they call urban renewal might happen in that particular place with regards to what we
it's going
see
to
in
happen.
Oworonshoki today?
It's going to happen if they are not stopped. You know why? Because since Tinubu time, they were creating a super Lagos that will be for the elites alone. That's what they are doing. You have a country where minimum wage is just 70,000 is paid, where over 75% of people are poor. Well, you first of all need to develop people to be rich, develop people to make sure that even where they are staying is not good for them. So you are not doing that. What they are just interested in is to build an elitist estate and market, creating an illusion that is what development is all about, that Lagos is moving. Where is Lagos moving? When people have to be on the street, when people have to start escaping, when people have to start going to drugs, and then you think that is how you move the country? No, no. You look at that Medina in Libya I told you about. Go to, I mean, I'm not sure now in Tripoli. You would think you are in Europe. And Gaddafi, the first time I got to Libya, is a military person. Gaddafi, you saw a widely written signboard at the airport in Arabic. And I asked, what is the meaning? That in Libya, there is no landlord and there is no tenant. And you see it yourself when you are being driven from airport to wherever you are going, you see 7, 8-story building, left, right, and you see some buildings that are completed, not yet shared. And I asked them, what are these buildings? Big, mighty building. They say it's for future generation. Those who will be over 1821, that government know they cannot stay with their parents, and they will allocate them. That is what they call governance. So it's about class interest. It's about grabbing. It's about not counting people to be something. Just they will find their way. And any country where the policy of government is that people will find their way, it's dangerous. It's like saying water will find its level. People are not water. Even water, when you say water will find its level, it causes flood. It causes a lot of flood. And you know this. Because you must plan. Planning, government is about planning for all, not for just few individuals. That's what they are doing. That's what they are doing. They want to create a banana island in that place so that those who will be saying they will be millionaire. And you allow a lot of people go back to, I mean, I won't say I'm happy, but also it's an example that in sovereign, there is no ethnic division. Now, a lot of Yoruba, if not more Yoruba than any other ethnic groups, have been affected in Oworonshoki. Have been affected. So Tinubu did not separate Yoruba from Igbo or from Hausa, Fulani who are staying there. The cries are more from Yoruba. So politicians don't send you whether you are the moment you are not in their class. Your interest can never align. So it's a lesson for us too to unite as members of the same class.
Yeah.
As masses and struggling working class, so that we don't allow separation, division. Now, those who voted for him, and Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo are being affected. And of course, those who have this fake idea that Yoruba, I own Lagos. You don't own Lagos. Go and be safe. The elites own Lagos. You don't. Now they are being sent to heaven, to hell, or to your village, to in Lekki, in Egba, in Abeokuta, in Ibadan. Nobody thought of, nobody thinks about you. Nobody not invite Yoruba alone as okay. Well, Yomo Yoruba, Yoruba, Yoruba people, we allow you to stay. Because economic interest, the some people, they are not interested in. It's only when election comes that they start using this pedestrian division because that make people to be so poor, both in intellect and in their pocket. So they become cheap political commodities. So they can use that to make them mad. Say, just like what they are doing in the north and also in the east. It's the same thing. So people should get when crashes like this happen, you don't look at it on the surface. You look at it deeply. What are the economic implications? What are the tribe or ethnic implications? So there's a unity now of all victims. Nobody's talking of Yoruba. The youths are Yoruba, mostly the leadership. I saw their statement. They wanted to go and bribe, block.
The
It's
Third
good,
Mainland
it's
Bridge.
good. They can protest is free. Protest is free. You can't destroy people's homes and not tell them to protest. You have to relocate them. That is the essence of governance. Governance doesn't say go to hell. So the moment the Sanwo-Olu government did not pack all of them and throw them into the lagoon, if you don't do that, you must relocate them. Or else there'll be crime,
Very well.
higher crime rate that you are going to spend much more to fight. And of course, some of them will turn to bandits. Of course,
Yeah.
some of them will be even become terrorists. Because when you have a government that doesn't free that doesn't think about you, practically doesn't think about you, then you must find your way. I met one guy who is a planet leader some years ago during Fashola regime, who was, he's also a Yoruba man. I went to do my car. And they were coming again everywhere at the mechanic in Ibadan. And when the market, I gave him the good car, did it perfectly well. Then, I was now interested in it. You know what he told me? That he was formerly in Ireland as a mechanic. He was just a store, their store was destroyed. He moved to Mushin. The store was destroyed. He moved to, no, he moved first of all not to shops. From there, shop destroyed. He moved to Mushin. Shop destroyed. And the man one day called his two wives and children at night. He told me the real life story. That he called them that they should just find their way. That he was going to Ekiti. He's letting to do whatever God says. And he told me that when they got to Ekiti, his uncle said, come and farm. Started doing some farming, but no money, no anything to even feed. So he contemplated going to armed robbery. He said it. Yes. The guy called again in those patrol time. He said, really going to armed robbery. He has even had meeting with some group. But he just thought, why? Then somebody said, one of his friends invited to him, that garage. So the guy was a mechanic. That was how he got to Ibadan. And I asked him, how about your family? He said he's not even interested in that. And he has told his wife that she just really go want to go and marry, she go and marry, want to do anything. You can see. So government just go wake and start dislocating people. No, it's wrong. It's wrong. Whether they come from Lagos or not, in fact, most of these Omonile are not even from Lagos. Forget they pretend to be Lagos. No, they are not Lagos. They are not. So this idea of just thinking that go find your way is wrong. If that boy, if that young man has gone into Abroad, very well competent, that is work attracted him to me. And I asked him, are you working in Lagos? Because this kind of company, this company was there. He was not working in Lagos, so that as with the company that he was working on his own. It's a finite of over 10 years experience. What have you? So what now? The Oworonshoki people, well, some of them will go to prostitution, some of them will continue suicide. So the young people who was who had overdose of their death. and she died. So who count all those costs, the social costs of development?
It's
I
actually
remember, when we were protesting in Ife, on Maroko demolition. Somebody asked, what's your business with Maroko demolition? I said, that one is you know that is the policy of government. Before you go, by the time you grow, that policy is, you are going to be a victim. And the professor invited me, to solve this, the professor of geography, where he said, you people, you want to discuss your band and whatever. The Maroko did not invite me. For the first time, I appreciate that. The professor I even inviting to a student. It's like only your lecturer, your comrades, your socialist colleague, right? Okay, I invited him to come. And I started talking all this elitist nonsense. That is urban renewal, urban development. I said the man did not understand the student. But I told the student that, look, if the man has been teaching you this nonsense in your class, you'll be writing it down. You agree with him. That's how you are going to have your A or B. And that tells you the orientation of bourgeois or aspiring bourgeois. The orientation is wrong from the start. The orientation, all those nonsense they teach them in the university. All those things, if you don't come into practical reality, into really educating yourself. Because don't forget all those nonsense that you are teaching in the university are product of bourgeois elite in foreign land. They are not product of, except you read books from other radical, people that you can balance. They will tell you, let people go to hell. So please, I'm in full solidarity with Oworonshoki protestants, and of course, I'm in full solidarity with anybody who protests when their homes without relocation is destroyed. And lastly, let me also add that whether they win this battle or not, no battle is lost. Why is that? Every battle by the people raises consciousness of the people to prepare better and more for eventual, struggle against the oppressor. It's as simple as ABC. Thank you very much.
Very well said, Mr. Ajola Showing. We truly do appreciate you. It's actually so sad, really so sad, that the main responsibility of government is security and welfare for its people. But in Nigeria, it's rather security and welfare for themselves, their family members, and their cronies, and not to Nigerians. And you can see, just like what you said, this is no longer about a tribe or ethnicity, because it's even affecting those that largely voted for this administration, which means, in accordance to what you say, it's about classism. It favors those that favor them the most, and that's what we see today. Unfortunately, I do not know how and where Lagosians would place Governor Sanwo-Olu at this point, because when we mention Lagos and those who have made Lagos what it is, we mention the governor, of course, that started it, and of course Fashola, yes.